Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. I'm having a super late start, man. I had a busy day, and then I just got done getting a workout in, and I call it the dungeon. So it was about like 104 degrees in my garage. Popped that fan on, did a quick little shoulder and back workout, man, and had a good little pump going. So we're just gonna jump straight into the content here, and there's some great stuff I want to cover. I want to start with this one from Alex Cobb. He says, guys, finally going to happen. Hashtag XRP, and he puts up this fat little green arrow pointing to $3. Just a waiting game to kind of see when this thing really takes off, man. We know it's going to happen. The writing's on the wall, and the reason why I wanted to touch this is because there's been a lot of people speculating as to, what's going on with XRP. I mean, it's currently sitting at a 63 cents, and it was just at 61, right? Alex Kopp says, who is actually selling XRP right now? After all this legal clarity from a 3-year battle, first altcoin to get regulatory clarity in the U.S. and people still selling. And then Moon Lambo hits it on the head. He goes, it's certainly not me. To each of their own, of course. But if I sold my XRP here, I'd have trouble sleeping at night, which I 100% guarantee, man. I didn't accumulate since late 2017 all the way up until this point. Hodling strong, not selling any to sell at this point. There's just no way, especially after we got that major victory against the SEC, man. But yeah, like he says, to each of their own, man. You got to do what's best for you and your family. Crypto Bull had put this this tweet up, and I wanted to touch on it. It says, I think it's funny seeing all these influencers talking about XRP price dropping and boasting about their buys at 56 cents. Where were you all when price dropped to 11 cents and I bought? So I wanted to touch on this case. So I don't know if this is like some sort of shade he's throwing at these influencers. I mean, it is what it is. Personally, for me, during this time, I even said it down here, I was in a real bad headspace. There was a lot of moving parts in my life, and I had already accumulated, for me at least, it was a lot for the capital I had. I accumulated a lot, and obviously we had this major drop in 2020 all the way down. I think we did hit 10 cents or something. And at that point, like, it was in that range that I was just like, I just can't put more capital into the market, man. I gotta, at the time I was with my ex, and we were talking about, having a savings account, something that we can fall back on if things hit the fan and stuff. And, I really just stepped away from accumulating. I was still involved, doing my research, seeing what was going on, but I did not pick up any at this range. I ended up coming back in when we started going back. It was like 17 cents. And then I really accumulated some more in the 20 cents to 28 cent range. So unfortunately, I didn't get 11 cents or 10 cents or 15 cents. I had a couple buddies who actually got in at 15 cents, which, that was, shout out for them. They actually were listening to all the, I guess you could say, excitement over my time early in, late in 2017, but I was trying to tell them like why I was so excited about XRP and stuff, and they finally did. When it dropped, they actually bought in. I didn't get in at this range, but I want to say shout out Crypto Bull, man, for accumulating some on that in that area. But like, not everybody was lucky enough to get down there, what I'm saying, whether they didn't have capital ready or whether they were, in a state of just complete devastation from the drop or fear, whatever the case is. So, shout out to you, man, for having that willpower, having the capital ready and really executing, man. That's huge. But yeah, like Alex Cobb says, man, is this thing going to happen? We're going to break out of this soon. It's just going to be a waiting game to kind of see what happens. Moving on here. This is Chairman Gensler. This is from Bitcoin News. It says, new SEC Chair Gary Gensler deflect question on what more you need to see to be confident that a spot Bitcoin ETF is actually ready for prime time due to ongoing litigation on the matter. And then he says you can ask ChatGPT. So remember, Chairman Gensler's talking about how they're going to shift from the crypto sector and really start focusing in and honing in on the AI sector. So let me make sure I got these right. Let me put this right here. Let me make sure I got these right. Okay, yeah, so I wanted to play this really quick. Let's take a quick listen in.
Top on the beat.
Something related to cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin ETF. What more do you need to see to be confident that a spot Bitcoin ETF is actually ready for prime time? And is the potential for market manipulation still the largest holdup to spot ETF approval?
Well, Mark, I recognize the question. It's a good question, but understanding that as chair of a regulatory agency and having various applications in front of us and not prejudging them, and also recognizing that there is ongoing litigation about these very matters, I think I'm going to have to defer on that one. But good try.
Fair enough.
You could ask ChatGPT.
I will do that. I have maybe the
He couldn't even say it right. I mean, it ain't funny. This is his tactic, man. He just beats around the bush, deflects, and goes, right around questions that are directly asked to him. And one of the big ones being, what is the status of Ethereum? You know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't answer that. Obviously, we've exposed it on this channel and in the community that, apparently he was saying what the status of Ethereum was behind closed doors. But he couldn't come out saying it publicly, right? That's what he does, man. That's his strategy. And talking about spot Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin Magazine says there are now 9 active spot Bitcoin ETF applications since 43 billion fund manager Global X ETFs filed theirs yesterday. The race is on. So a lot of people are excited about this so-called race. If you're talking about grab your popcorn and rocket ships and all this stuff, man, I mean, a spot Bitcoin ETF, which a lot of us are thinking BlackRock is going to be the first one to get it. A spot Bitcoin ETF can really set this market, can really send us off to the next bull cycle strong, right? Obviously them having to actually accumulate and hodl Bitcoin. I mean, you're talking about a lot of money being able to have access to it, right? So regulatory clarity, spot Bitcoin ETFs, spot Ethereum ETFs, XRP ETFs. I mean, that would be massive for this space, and it's just a waiting game till that actually happens. I wanted to touch on this because these headlines can be sensationalized in a sense. It says Coinbase might delist Cardano 88 and other tokens, CEO says. So I highlighted it down here. It says Armstrong described the delisting of ADA and the other tokens as quote unquote the worst case scenario, but downplayed the potential impact of such a move, suggesting that their delisting would not pose a substantial loss of revenue or present an existential crisis for the company. So just hearing that, I'm assuming, Bitcoin and Ethereum are probably their top ones. Obviously, relisting XRP is going to be a top one. So, the whole, as he's saying, worst case scenario, delisting of ADA and certain other tokens probably wouldn't be as impactful, but for the investors, it will be, man. Look what happened when they delisted XRP. That was tragic, for the investors that hodled it on that platform and that wanted to accumulate on that platform. But I think, was it you today? Yeah, I'm not sure about this because that headline, they kind of just took what he was saying as a worst case scenario and kind of ran with it. Obviously, we've seen that Brian Armstrong and Paul Grewal talking about how they, just filed to get the case dismissed. It seems like they have a lot of power and leverage in their position in litigation against the SEC. So I think this is just literally smoke and mirrors, really interesting. And I think this is a sensationalized headline. And real quick, someone had commented to me yesterday talking about, hey, take a breath, slow down. I'm gonna just say straight up, I've always been told, hey, you talk really fast. Hey, you can slow down. That's just kind of how I am, especially when I get passionate about something. And if I'm flowing, I'm just gonna keep rolling. But I do consciously try to slow down when I make this content to kind of make it a little bit more bearable for you. But this is me. This is something that I do. This is something I'm interested in. It's a hobby I enjoy. I don't want to make it a job. So I'm going to continue to be me and, talk about the topics I want to talk about, things that are interesting, things that I want to have conversations with in the chat with you guys, and just be myself. And that's who I am. Sometimes I'm going to be fast. Sometimes I'm not going to be that fast. It just kind of is what it is. This is me. Continuing on here. This is from Crypto Slate. It says, Tether declares victory in class action lawsuit as judge dismisses the case. In a statement, Tether claimed that the court found the plaintiffs failed to show that they suffered any loss. So all the FUD since I've been in the space, Tether has been a major topic of discussion of, oh man, so much FUD and fear around Tether. And, is Tether going to go down and bring the entire crypto market down? And there's just been a lot of, speculation and just weird things with the company, just a lot of stuff. So we all don't know the exact truth. People have been speculating, trying to get evidence here, based off of the stuff that's out there. But no one really knows. I mean, I would say in the greater community, all the ins and outs as to what's going on. But this is something positive, I guess, for Tether. hey, so take it, take it or leave it, you can read this article if you like and see what you like out of it. But I wanted to touch on this from Adam Cochran. You can read it. Food for thought. I thought it was an interesting read, but he's talking about, so why is Tether selling off? Likely Huobi insolvency. Binance started selling as USDT in bulk. It's USDT in bulk. We found out that Huobi executives and Tron personnel questioned by police. This is not long after Sun's STUSDT launch and weird balance shifts of Huobi in the last month. So I'm not going to read the 16 thread tweet, but there was a member within, I think it's Huobi, talking about, hey, this isn't true. We haven't been investigated by any police. And then Adam Cochran says, I've been talking to, actual executives that says there is an investigation happening. So there was kind of like some back and forth. Could be some truth to this. I think it's an interesting read. So I highly recommend you go in and kind of read what he had put in this thread and take what you want, discard what you don't want. Moving on here, this from Watcher Guru says, in August 2022, the U.S. Senate passed a bill to hire 87,000 new IRS agents to investigate citizens' finances. Remember, when it comes to us, we can't get away with anything, and they want to be on us. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to being in this space. They don't want us to get rich, right? They don't want us to change the financial course of our lives. And then it says, in November 2023, the U.S. Pentagon failed its fifth consecutive audit, unable to account for 61% of its $3.5 trillion in assets. So we covered it on this channel, just this weird stuff. I think there was something that was just denied in regards of, I forgot what entity or what body of the government that they were talking about investigating. It was denied, right? But they had passed the hiring of 87,000 new IRS members to investigate citizens, especially when it comes to like the crypto space, right? It's crazy, man. You got to really educate yourself, man, and really see the writing on the wall and see how this system is set up to, not for the betterment of us. It really is to keep us as sheep, and so they can hurt us. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's crazy. This is interesting. This is from Watch Guru. It says, JP Morgan no longer expects a recession in the U.S. So we talked about the recession talks and all this stuff on the channel, and we know that Janet Yellen and all of them were coming out talking about we're not in a recession, and they kind of changed their tune. They were talking about how they were changing the definition of what being in a recession is. It's crazy, man. We're not idiots. We got to continue to stay involved, to keep, making content, spreading the truth and the true information that's out there. So we're all educated and we're all staying on top of, these changing events and narratives in our world today, man. It's important, especially when it comes to the crypto space, because obviously we know that when these digital assets, increase in price or decrease in price, they usually follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin tends to follow, the regular markets, the S&P and, NASDAQ and whatnot. There's some sort of correlation there. So all of this stuff matters. And I thought this was interesting as well. It says Amazon Prime is giving out free NFTs for this Polygon game. Prime subscribers can now snag a free Polygon NFT and in-game currency from Mojo Melee. With more freebies to come. So looks pretty cool. Coming down here, where's the thing? Yeah, it says it right here. It says one free offer includes GWYN Rocket Hopper Digital Collectible and 850 Aura. And I'm assuming that's where those these little gems were or something. But hey, look into it. I don't know. I really don't know any details behind it. I just thought it was interesting. And knowing, that I think Amazon has like over 200 million Prime subscribers or something crazy. I mean, that is massive. You know what I'm saying? And that can make a huge impact in the NFT space in crypto. It's crazy, man. There's a lot of stuff happening, man. You got to continue to open your ears, open your eyes, and really educate yourself in this space. We're currently sitting at a $1.2 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 29,052. Ethereum sitting at 1833. XRP sitting at 63 cents. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is sitting at a 49. Woo. Man, it's getting late, man. I hope you guys had a great day. Have a good night. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.